Welcome, I'm Bill Wake. We're here working on a program to analyze your personal finances by projecting out a few years. And we've created the tree that represents multiple alternatives, and we'd like to create graphs for them. So we're going to focus on that today and see if we can get this to kind of a nice point before the weekend. All right. Well, let's run. So last thing we did yesterday was our original graph just assumed there was one number to graph, and it turned that into data and graphed it. And now we've put in the capability that there can be multiple. We've made the interface support multiple graphs, but we only generate one. So let me put a quick graph in here. $5,000 starting forever. Okay, so and we'll add another. Let's give ourselves an annuity for $2,000 starting in month 24. We should see a bend in the curve. Yeah, slight, but there it is. Now, something seems, well, E6 is million, right? So $2 million. I guess I should get used to that for generous incomes and stuff like that. But so I'm keeping a salary. Well, basically, I have $7,000 a month for 10 years. 8,400. That seems. Am I just being funny? It seems off to me. Let's. Well. I just don't know. 7,000 a month is 84,000 a year. So 10 years, yeah, it was $840,000 in that ballpark there. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's what you get if you don't spend anything. Never had that kind of lifestyle, spending free. Okay. Let's see. So graph scenarios from the concrete plans. All right. Now, we did the work to say, given the possibilities, can you generate the scenarios? All right. And that was all this. We did yesterday converting this. It was set of scenario. We moved it into its own object and added some things. I'm still a little unsure that this is the right thing to do, but okay, we'll move on. But what we have in the, let's get to our chart. We have possibilities.project, and we're projecting for 360 months, which is 30 years. Okay, so that's got the data series. So it's really project that's the home of this. And I think almost, let's see, does anybody call this? Test. Okay, yeah. So we have no I don't know. We don't have anything that's. We generated all these scenarios based on the ands and ors. You know, I want this and this and this, and I want either a retire at 62 or 67 or 70 and so on. That generates that, but nobody's looking at it because there's nothing to look at per se. I mean, there's nothing that examines one scenario in our code so far. So what I would like this to be is really project should ask those scenarios like, what's your data? Okay. And it should get back a string of, or a list of these things. And each possibility should generate its own data for things. All right. So I I think what I want to say is, well, one scenario should be able to generate one of these pairs, tell you its name, and tell you the net worth. Now, I don't know if that's already... We have a challenge that we have to identify things, and there's nothing like what's going to make these names unique. I don't think there is anything. Okay, so let's... right, so I think what we want to do is pull this into an actual object, give it an ID field so we can, the system can identify them with that. And then make each scenario say, hey, project this, it should be able to do that. Okay, so let's see. Well, we've done that. So struct net worth data is identifiable. Well, that's something. It has a month and an amount. Yeah, I guess that's okay. But this is, well, what is it? It's kind of a net worth at 1 month. So maybe that's, well, let's make sure this isn't going to blow up. Okay, let's call this something that reflects that. So how about monthly net worth? Data is already sort of a not so great term, but monthly net worth. Okay, so that is, here's a month, here's the net worth. Okay, and now I think this is struct something about scenario. I want to go back to data. I don't know, is data the right thing to say? Maybe it's scenario net worth. Okay, and then he's got a name. And he's got months. Month. Net worth. Net worth by month. Month. Yeah, I think that's okay. And then this is possibilities. Net worth. And that should be, and I'm going to go back to data, is an array of scenario net worth. Okay, so I think I'm extracting types. All right, so now whoever's referencing name, this is possibilities net worth because it's an array of data, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so, well, I'll run tests because we haven't done that yet, but that's sort of harmless. I've just introduced a type that we don't use. Okay. And I don't know, it's tempting. I mean, I kind of copied the example to use what do you call it? It's not, well, it's a named pair, I guess you'd say. It's like a pair, but we named the fields. Okay, so that's all right. Okay, let's take this out. All right, so this should be possibilities data. Possibilities net worth. I don't know. That may not be broad enough, but anyway. All right. And so we're going to, well, result is an array of monthly net worth. What's plan? That's our tree. I don't know. So plan net worth, I guess that's kind of going to go away because a tree doesn't really have, possibilities don't have a net worth. Possibilities are a generator for a bunch of scenarios. We do have or trees and trees now. It's very invisible. Let's run, and that's something I want to work on. Oh, well, let me finish this change. So let's say possibilities net worth. With data this, will that do it? No, because name. So this needs to be a scenario net worth. Well, data result is an array of monthly net worth, right? That's what you put in a scenario net worth. Equal scenario net worth name my finances net worth by month is result. Okay, and we're going to return, I think that's right. Okay. I was going to say, how can that compile when we changed all this? All right. Okay, so possibilities.project. Possibilities net worth must conform to random access collection. Oh, well, that's kind of bad. Well, let me make this a type alias just to move us forward. Okay. Possibilities net form, that should conform. Data series. No, his type is scenario net worth. Yeah, anyway, one of the things I want to do today, if we have time, is put some icons in so we can tell the and trees from the or trees. But, okay, so here's possibilities, content view. Let's close that away. All right, so data series, well, he's got to be a scenario net worth. So scenario net worth dot net worth by month. Is that okay? Okay, so here's salary. I can type salary 10,000. Okay, and then I'm going to add, well, let's make it scenarios. Social Security. Now this has a plus sign because it's an OR node, a scenario node. So we could get 1,500 a month. Or 3,000 a month. Not quite sure of the dates. I'm just putting something in. Okay. So, whoops. How many times can I do that? I want to open it. All right. So here we've got three alternatives, 62 or two alternatives, 62 or 70. It would be good. So what I'd like to happen is I wish this graph would show the two possibilities, where today I think we said the max, so max of 70 is 3,000 a month. So we're getting that. The data is, the scenarios we can get from our current, we're calling the variable plan, but it's not really the right word. Our current possibilities. That data exists, and now we want to make it generate the chart data. I guess that's the way to say it. Stumbling around here a little. Okay. Now, that's more or less doing what we want. So we make possibilities report chart data using new types. Now, I don't know, it's very confusing to me. but somehow a scenario, whatever the code is in possibilities here, right, running the monthly totals for each month and all that stuff. I don't know whether to. I'm not sure how to best organize this data, because I could see the net worth view is this kind of cumulative thing. I could also see a view that shows for every month or year or whatever, how much expenses versus how much income, and a little chart like that, that you could tell if the expenses exceed the income, then you got a problem. Or maybe it's just net worth by month, but that would be nice to get from this data. But I don't know how you do this. Like, you don't want your chart doing the addition work, right? We want our chart to have the data. But maybe monthly net worth gets us started, and then we can start breaking it up a little. All right. But for a given scenario, I think you're going to say, here's a range of months. I want to know your net worth in each of those months for a scenario. And that's a perfectly good thing to ask. All right. So let's tackle this with scenario and put that over there. I can give ourselves a little room. As much as we can. Okay, so in possibilities, we want to say, hey, scenario, for these months, and I think we should give it the range really. For these months, what's your net worth? Okay, that's a good thing to answer, and I think for each scenario, that's going to be the right thing. Okay, so I guess we gotta put a test in for this. Let's see. Do we have a test on some possibilities? Oh man, these don't even. Oh, that's annoying. Scenario net worth has no data. Yeah, that's true. Has name and net worth by month. Okay. All right. So the test is something like this, and this is almost exactly the test. All right, so scenario, a scenario. Okay, so we'll start with this test and adapt it. So I'm going to make this scenario. All right, and we're going to add a stream. And now, I guess we project a range. That should be enough. I'm trying to think if you would ever, I mean, normally you would want to know like month one is interesting. Now, whether you want to project out 30 years or 40 years or 70 years, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be living 130, but, somebody just born might conceivably live to 70. Okay. Project, and then data sub zero. Well, let's call this result. And it's not sub zero. Result should be our scenario data, scenario net worth. Okay, so this has no project method. Let's give it one. Function project. It's going to take a range of, I don't know how range works. Range over int. And it yields scenario net worth. Okay. And we will return, well, call scenario net worth. Okay. Why are you not happy? Cannot find operator. Oh. Still unhappy. Closed range. Okay. All right. And I expect this test to fail. That's pretty failed. All right. Result. Net worth by month. The last fails. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's all right. I think we kind of know what to do, right? Because possibilities. I mean, it's going to be kind of like this. Now we'll adjust it, but it's the shape is about right. Okay, so we need a monthly net worth, and we're going to build a running money total. This is going to go over our range. I guess this is months. So let's make it months. Okay, for each month, we're going to do well, we can just say net. Net for this month. We'll add it up. Append those things. And then return. Now, we don't have names for any of this stuff yet, so I'm just going to let that slide for now. We don't need this anymore. So we haven't tested. Well, I guess what's our test say? Yeah, we don't know the name of this scenario. Our scenarios don't really have names yet. I'll just call it a scenario for now. I don't think anything's doing anything with it really. Okay, so net worth by name. Make sure that's working. And I think I can probably simplify this a little bit. Months for each month, net equals month per month. Let's inline this. Now, I keep, every time I see a loop like this, I think, is this a reduce? And it kind of is. It's kind of like a double reduce. It's a little weird. I don't know if writing it that way will make it better or not. But we would have to return the running total and the monthly net worth. And that seems a little fraught. Okay, so that is, well, that's a start. I mean, it's getting our scenarios. Make scenario no, well, report its net worth. And we're trying to get some graphical data out of here. All right, and then, so, sorry, let me just check this thing. Okay, so that takes care of one scenario, but we need to deal with the possibilities. And so I think really what we're saying is we want to map all scenarios well, we're trying to get, for any given scenario, we want to take that and compute its project it and accumulate that into a big array that we pass back. Okay. So I don't know if we can. Not sure how I want to deal with this. Oops, lost things. Okay, so I think the version of project right now hardcode's checking off the plan, and we definitely don't want that. Okay, so whoops, there's possibilities. Where's some possibilities? Okay, so now we've got possibilities. We're adding streams. That really makes one scenario. And if we project it, and we get it back, we should get back that scenario. All right, so I think this test covers us doing some refactoring. Let me shut that thing up again. Sorry. Okay, so I think that will cover us refactoring possibilities to use our scenarios instead of our plan. Okay, so I think the simple thing, well, we want to take our scenarios, and then we're trying to capture an array of them. Well, is it just, maybe it's just a map to, well, we want to call scenario $0. Is that safe? Project one ... months. Okay, and that gives us an array of scenario net worths. So let's put it in an array. Sorry, that gives us an array. So we can just return that, I think. Now, we only looked at one test, but I think that first test is going to pass. Now, I don't know about this one. Test scenario with only groups. Well, if a scenario has only groups, then those things accumulate too. I wouldn't say that's even doing that. Yeah, I don't think it's going to matter. It only gets interesting when you start having the OR trees in there, the multiple scenarios. Okay, so that is covered. All right, but I think we should, I mean, this is almost the same test. Is it? Oh no, it's checking the scenarios. Okay. Well, that's not, I guess we're trusting scenarios to be the real thing. Okay. So I think the next test I want then is test graphs or computes net worth for multiple scenarios. ENARIOS. Okay, so this is going to be more close to this. Okay. All right, we got possibilities. let's give ourselves salary 1 or salary 2. This is 1,000. This will be 2,000. Actually, I want to check this and see if it complains. Okay, so if we ask for the data, the project, data is project. Okay, so if we have that, data sub 0 dot net worth by month, well, it's an array, so I guess I can just do that. Okay, so the month, the salary should be 1,000, or no, it should be 24,000, right? So salary 1, 1,000 a month, 12 months, and then 48,000. Okay, 1,000 a month for 12 months. Let's try my math a little there. Okay, so this now needs to add a NOR tree or tree. And I don't remember how to do it. Add stream. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. I see how you add a stream. I don't see how you add a group or a scenarios, which is our and tree and our or tree. All right, where would we see that? I guess, well, content view is where everything starts. There's our chart. There's our plan list view. Right, somebody's got the plus sign. Okay, add plan view, that chooses which type. Wants to create scenarios view. Plan.append. Oh. So, do we have to get to the plan? Plan.append. Somebody must be referencing this. Sections, oh, it's plan tree, okay. But maybe they do it off this. Sections for each section, okay. I don't know if possibilities needs to. Well, clearly you get access to sections. Well, I want to do something like set.add a tree. It doesn't seem quite. Okay, we do plan.append, plan leaf, add stream. Well, let's get it and then add it. So let or tree equal or tree. Wait a minute. Or tree. Oddly, he knows his combining operator. Well, any plan knows how to append a plan tree. So composite tree, plan composite dot make or tree. Okay. Jobs. Okay. And now or tree dot append. I guess there's got to be a plan leaf of a stream. Okay, a little awkward. And this is salary 2000. Okay. All right, so now I have the sut, the possibilities. I have the or tree, but I don't have the or tree in the possibilities. So I need to add, and I want to add or tree. Now, that happens with plan.append. Okay. All right. So I think it's like we're doing two things at once. I'll admit a little bit, but I think they're kind of reasonable. We had a plan tree. And that's really plan.append tree. All right, now I think the, whoops. I think that hopefully that's good enough to make our test fail. Okay, good. And that's the only failing test. All right, so what does it do? 0 and 0. Yep. Okay, so possibilities. Well, I'm not quite sure there, right? Project takes all those scenarios and map each one to its projection. So net neuron blends not last. All right. I guess we'll break and project. This is scenario project. All right, let's run this test. Okay, so result. Start off with money. One to 360. And why didn't you do anything? Oh, I guess this result. $0. No. Oh, yeah, they are all zeros. How did they get filled in? It never stopped inside. How come it's 360? That's also a good question. What are we doing? Where are we? Sequence.map, project. Where's the test? It doesn't feel like we're quite running the tests that we set out to do. Possibilities, like where's 360 coming in? I only see 12. And I don't even know, that's kind of big. Let's make it 3. If it works for 3, it probably works for any count. This should be 1. Okay. Something's very bizarre. All right, let's go back here. Let's make sure we're starting here. 1 to 360 seems like a whole running thing. Oh, this is so bizarre. Why are we here? Content body. Why are we doing anything with navigation stack? This is not a UI test. Continue. Okay, well, that should be the right one. All right, let's look at months. Right, good. Okay, that's helpful. I guess I'll break here so we can get inside the loop. Okay, so month should be 1. All right, and then print net of month 0. Print items. Nothing. Yeah, the 360 is, it's like it's running content view. I don't know why it would for unit tests. This is the only 360. I mean, I think it's in a couple places here, but it's the only time we run that. So something is weird as far as starting up our tests. It's like it's got to open up that screen. Where is it? Yeah, it has it open. We don't have UI tests. Let's look at this plan. Yeah, all it's got is these. So I think they've changed something in the test runner maybe, but anyway. Okay, so, but the problem is we don't have any items in our scenario. So why not? All right, so that to me says something's more wrong with scenario building, which, I mean, that's conceivable. That add is something I just added. All right, so let's go back here. All right, so let's make sure this looks right first. So we got possibilities. Well, yeah, I can tell why, because the append sut.add plan.append. Right, that's, well, that should be kind of okay. I mean, right now we only have one section, which is plan. And you can add, let's see what this does. If my children is nil, no, it should have stuff in it. Append it. Okay, well, let's ignore this for a minute. Ignore, and let's test this adding of the plan. I guess this is kind of the same. Add scenarios. Okay. We're not going to do project. We're just going to do scenarios. Oh, well, that was the other test, right? That was scenarios with groups. We add this, we add that. Yeah, that's okay. Result equals array sut scenarios. Possibilities. That seems weird. That's an array of scenario. Oh, right, that gives the scenarios back. So we add stuff. We want to make sure we get two scenarios back. Okay, so I guess making an array out of it. Scenarios doesn't have count and all that stuff. So result. So result dot count should be 2. All right, let's check this one first. Seems weird. It was at least 1. Okay. 1 is not equal to 2. Now, where did we... This delegates to plan. Sure. Scenarios. That was our fun yesterday, right? Result equals scenarios. For each child, for each scenario, we generate a new one. All right, let's break in here. I guess I really want to see the plan at some point. Oh, what's that? I don't know what we'll get from that, but let's try it. Okay, he's an and tree. I don't know if I should add a debug print to this thing, because he should be an and tree. Result. Well, okay, let's print ourselves. All right. 2 children, 2 scenarios. Salary 1, salary 2. Okay, that seems good. All right, and then let's break here. And print result. Well, that looks like 2 scenarios. All right, so let's go back. Okay, we're in scenarios. We'll step and scenarios. Hopefully it's an array of 2 things still. What? Oh. It's only 1. No? Result. Scenarios only has 1 value. Oh. That's not good. Yeah, I mean, something should happen to the scenarios. We've generated them and then we've done nothing with them. I think I should replace the one we start. Yes, right, because an OR tree says I've got all these alternatives. I generate all of them. Now, whatever I started with is irrelevant because now I have the alternatives with those in it. So now, which one is this? This is and tree. Okay, so that is funny to me. Children equals my children. So each child I have, well, I'm not so sure now. I think the OR tree creates these new scenarios and copies them in. The AND tree should take the scenarios for each child. He should be accumulating something, right? He should. Well, I mean, if I say and pick one or pick 2 other ones, right? The child could generate multiple scenarios. So, I mean, I need to accumulate them. We'll have to look at our test too. Like, why? How did this slip through? But um, if a child has a bunch of scenarios, I mean, really, we should copy our scenarios. I'm getting confused though, I gotta say. The child.scenarios takes the existing scenarios, but you're supposed to, I mean, the children of an and node should accumulate, 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 accumulate. Um, I mean, if a child generates more possibilities, I don't know. I need a little pile of trees I can look at. Um, where can I do this? I guess not to do. Um, all right. If I have and or well, I have a stream and then an or and then an or. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so as it accumulates, it should add stream, and then it should add. I guess it should take whatever its existing scenario is and generate a scenario for each child. Or whatever the child gives me back, right? Should it build on the existing one? He gives me back 2, and he gives me back 2. I should have 4 scenarios in the end. One or pick one of 1 or 2, pick one of 3 or 4, and that's the combinations, right? You can do 1 3, 1 4, 2 3, 2 4. All right, but we got to make the thing fill in from the bottom. He's got to do so when it comes to the and he does the first child. But there's really no difference. This is actually inside another and tree. The top level is an and implicitly, or maybe explicitly. I'd have to check, but the stream is the first and the second and is the and. Okay, quotes. So if you just add a bunch of streams, 1, 2, 3, salary 1, salary 2, salary 3, those go in an and until you create an or node. But I think the thing is that to create this node, like an and has to build on things to the left of its children, right? So he starts empty, and then he adds in the first stream, and then he adds in whatever the result of the and is. Well, and has children, he should say, okay, take what you've got so far, and this or node is going to take stream and 1, and that's one thing it returns. And then the second thing it returns, it should return 2 scenarios here, stream and 1 or stream and 2, and then we do the next child. Well, that should build on that stream 1, stream 2 thing. So and nodes kind of sequentially left to build on the previous child, Now this one happens to be an or, but it could have been another and. So it should build the scenarios based on its first child. That list comes back. That should be the feed for the list of second scenarios and stuff like that. So clearly we didn't test that well enough. So I don't know if I need to stack that on top of what we're doing. I hate getting so buried in those, but it's kind of the fundamental thing of this and or tree, that the ors split streams into multiple streams, and the ands accumulate them left to right. And what we've got does not, in plan tree, wherever that got off to. We are not building on the scenario. This should not be scenarios. It should be the result of the previous child. So the ignoring that's just, it's kind of badly wrong, and to the point I don't know why it even works at all, because this needs to be an accumulator, basically kind of a reduce, honestly, but it's not. Now here we generate the copies. I mean, I think that's generating new lists of scenarios. Okay, so we spent so much time looking at OR tree yesterday. Let's find some tests. They're all in plan tree. I don't know why I like to put the tests on the left. Okay, scenarios for stream. Okay, make scenarios for and tree, make scenarios for or tree. Right, we don't test the multiple scenarios for an and tree. Well, what do we do? Okay, we make two leaves, make a tree out of it. And the scenarios, okay, there's only one scenario, so it's easy to miss. But array 0, oh, we consciously created two separate ones. Okay, well that's something. All right, so we're making sure it builds both scenarios with the new stuff, which should make them 3,000. Net in month 1. Yeah. Okay. So that's kind of okay. I guess what we haven't dealt with, well, I guess taking a scenario and saying I'm going to add a stream to it always creates a new scenario with the stream added. There's nothing interesting there. But we need to deal with adding or scenarios. Adding a scenario when the children are ors. Okay, so I'll copy this for starters, but it's going to be different. Okay, so we make a leaf. Well, let's make 1A, 1B, 2A, and 2B. Now, I don't think we need, we can make these small. I think we can make them all the same even. We don't even need the date. I don't think we need to say the months. Tennis scenarios for and tree with or child. Okay, so actually, I don't need this one. Okay, so so we'll make an and tree, an or tree. Make or tree. Name is scenarios. The children is leaf 1A, leaf 1B. And now this is or tree and leaf 2. Okay, so we're setting up a tree with two alternatives. That's the or tree. And then the parent is the or tree plus leaf 2. Okay, and so when we ask for scenarios, let's just start with 1. Okay, and we'll make an array out of the result. Well, we don't have to do that. We can just do, I think, just conceptually this is okay. We'll pick up those elements. Okay, now and this should be array of scenario. No. Okay. I guess that's they are different. Okay. This should have two scenarios, either income 1, income 3, or, well, let's call them 1A and 1B, and income 2. Okay, so this should be array sub 0 net 1 should be 3,000. And array sub 2 net 1 should be 3,500. Okay. Okay, 1A for 1,000, 1B for 1,500. Leaf 2 is 2,000. Make this scenarios alternatives 1A, 1B. Make a parent with the or tree and the leaf 2. Okay. Then we ask for the scenarios. That could be simpler. And we get the array back, and it's an array of scenario. And we're saying one of them should be 3,000 and one of them should be 3,500. Okay. I believe this test will fail. With one thing coming back. Yeah, index out of range. Assert 1 is not equal to 2. Okay, so we failed the count. Right. Good. I think that's the failure we expect. Did the value equal 2,000 not equal to 3,000? Okay, yeah, so it totally messed it up. All right. Now plan tree. So children for each. All right. Now, 105, shouldn't that be array 1? Yes, thank you. I think it should fail the same way, but you're right. Yeah. Okay, so it came up with one entry that was 2,000, not 3,000. Okay, so so the children, they start with a set of scenarios. All right, let's let result equals scenarios. The result starts out empty. And we're going to take, I guess, is it result? Okay, so I'm going to generate the child for every set of scenarios. Let's say result, and then result. Okay, this should feel the same way. All I've done is copy that thing and then use it instead of calling it scenarios. Yep. Okay. Right. I don't know why I can't notice, like you've got it sitting right there. All right. But now I think what happens is this is result is now we're taking the child and the left child or the first child, we're building the result from scenarios, and now that results in a new set of scenarios because it might have or children, and those become the result, and then we take the next child starting from result var. And then at the end, whatever's left from the last child is the thing. All right. Go. Oh no, that's good in a way. That puts us back to our add scenarios. Okay, which I'm not sure the test is right, but the other test passed. Okay, let's make sure that's true. So it was some possibilities. Test add scenarios? No, it was plan tree. Test scenarios for entry with or child. Okay. Okay, so that's passing. Now let's look at our some possibilities test. Okay. We got possibilities. We'd make an OR tree with two choices, and we add that to our possibilities, which does what? It adds it to the tree, the plan. Just curious what it printed. It probably printed that and node. Oh, wait. Okay. Result equals, I think we want set.scenarios is a scenarios object. Okay, well, from the other one we learned this was not the way to do that. Okay, let's try again. All right. Okay. So this was kind of a big repair. We fixed the way and trees compute scenarios. They need to build on children from left to right. And this is because each child could generate a whole new list of scenarios. Okay, stage, commit. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it definitely gave me a twinge yesterday to see that underscore equals, like we're throwing it out. And I think because it could add to the existing scenarios in some of the cases, but this test is good. It demonstrated the problem. And all right, so close that. Where are we? Graph scenarios from the concrete plans. Okay, I think we're kind of getting closer. This we detected running, so let's run it again. Okay, so we'll add salary one. No, we're going to add a scenarios, jobs, create, and then jobs is going to get salary one or job one. Earns us $20 a month. And then job two earns us $50 a month. Hey, two graphs. All right. Okay, and now with the sophistication we've built in on 2 weeks of playing around, you can clearly see that job one's going to be better than job two for you. All right. Fun. All right. So the graph is only showing one colored thing, so that makes me twingy. But I think this is okay. That's on the UI side. We'll have to look at what you got to do for that. All right, so I think I can close this side. Look at this. Okay, now what I'm not getting is labels. Foreground style. Scenario name. Yeah, I think I just have to figure this part out. Okay, so this was our nice example. Okay, foreground style pet type. I don't know what that means. The symbol puts that in. Why does he... Like, I don't get why he gets the coloring and all that stuff. Foreground style data series dot type. Now, one thing that this, I think our data has IDs, so you may not need this. And the names, we didn't really address names yet because I haven't worked out even how that's going to be handled. But I guess I got to get into groups right away. Jobs. Wait a minute. Okay. I clicked on the right thing. Yeah. And why isn't that job 1, I've got a scenario somewhere. Okay. And then job 2, $7 a month. Okay. All right. Well, it didn't mind indexing off them. This a scenario, though, I don't quite get how it knows. And maybe we just have to compare our possibilities. Has the definitions up here. All right, so he's got cat data and dog data. And he has data of pet data. Cat has cat data, dog has dog data. All right, I guess his things, they have different names and ours don't. Yeah. Well, okay, but I think our difference is both these streams have the name a scenario, and so since that's what we're using to differentiate them, they end up being one thing and copied. Let's find a scenario. We talked a little about the naming approach we might use. Not visible in that example. Yeah, there could be. I don't know why when you change this, it doesn't repeat the search. Okay. Will that do it? Oh, we still have an open test case. All right, let's add scenarios. SS 8. You know, we could change this to create an initial body, an empty list. All right, so 62, we get 1,000. $70, we get 3,000. There we go. Okay. So yeah, I just threw something in there to make them different. Now, so there's two pieces to the naming. That one of them is we talked about yesterday was the scheme of saying like, well, anything that generates, you start with one scenario, and then if you generate an or, then you do dot, and then whatever its child, the first one's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if they have children, it's 1.2.3.4 or 1.2.2.1, stuff like that. That would give you a unique name that you could theoretically trace. Now, I think the real thing, I mean, what I would like, right? What I really would like would be like SS colon SS 62, SS colon SS 70. And if these names are unique, then that helps. If that would require me to enforce this name being unique across the collection of names. Although maybe it's only unique relative to its ancestors or something, which is not easy to find because our tree goes down, not up, or goes from root to leaf, not leaf to root. Okay, so I mean, this is enough for now. It seems to me. I mean, I know I need to solve the problem, but we have something that lets me distinguish them. Now, if let's see, here we are, project, and this is a scenario. Yeah, it all feels doable, but it feels like a fair bit of going up and down the trees and finding it. And I don't know if I want to get involved in that right now. Now we have this ignore test compute network for multiple scenarios. This, well, it might even just work at this point. Let's run it. Nope. Okay. We have a possibility tree. We make an OR tree. We add that to the SUT. Project 3. 6,000. Why am I... Oh, that is probably right. No, wait. It's only going to be 3,000, isn't it? What's this one come in at? Twice that? 3,000. Oh, we don't control the order. So project 3 gives us these datas. Well, okay, let's let set what result this should be result again. Okay, so I want to take this equals set was from, nope, set, can I just put the names? Well, I can do this. Okay, and so if I take result net worth last dot amount, result 1, okay, now I have a set of amounts. It could be in either order, and I should be able to say assert equal data. Now let's call it result set. That should be 3,000, 6,000. Okay. And let me change this so it's wrong. A little bit of work. Okay, hopefully he's coming back with the same number twice. Okay. And if I make this 1, okay, we're not going to be doing a lot of this computation, so I guess that's okay. It's very tricky when you get these sets of things, right? I mean, our scenarios in a realistic sense are sets. I mean, it's an array, but it gets shuffled and scrambled as you work your way down the tree so much. I don't think you can conceptually trust that they're in a particular order. Now, maybe you kind of can, because we do systematically. I mean, an AND tree has to generate left to right. There's no choice there. An OR tree, I mean, it doesn't have to generate left to right, but it probably will, even though the results don't have to be in any particular order. So, yeah, this gets at that. It's a pain when you start saying, I got to test these multiple possibilities. Now, some of the earlier tests, right, we had to check, well, I don't remember which one, but we had at least one that had to check, is the sequence back? Is the sequence right? Yeah, you could sort it. I don't think it, well, I could even say sorted on here, right? But I think they're sets, so I don't have to sort them really. This is, it knows that this is set, so it knows this is a set, not an array. Okay, so I mean, my ideal is not to have to work on stuff. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, but by the time you get down to the end of that phrase, it's kind of like, ugh. Now, I don't know if we can take this off. No, we can't. We want the amount. Okay. Right. So that should pass. Let's check that in. This was make test case accept scenario results in any order. And sometimes you just have to decide, if I had two sequences, I could explicitly find one and capture the sequence from it and capture the one from the other. Or I could just say one of you has to be, 0 at this point, and one of you has to be 1, and so on. It's how tight you want to be. Has low values, low down the inners. Yeah. They're probably, I don't know if there's an assert that does that. People have certainly made them before. I mean, for various test packages and whatnot. Okay, so this, now let's see the to do. Graph scenarios from the concrete plans. Well, that we've done. Okay, refine the notion of start and end date, add multiple sections. Should net return an array of values. I think scenarios has made that out of the way. Got validation we can do. I mean, all right. So, well, we're due for a break. Let's take a break. Yeah, we didn't take a break yet. And we'll come back and figure out what's next. But we got to a particular point. I'm really happy to be there. All right. Back in a few minutes, 3 or 4. All right, welcome back. Okay, so I think the graphs look to be at a certain point. We'll come back and play with it in a few minutes, but I want to deal with this notion of adding icons to the tree nodes first. The way it is now, well, where to go? I guess you can't see so much. But, you know, when I'm adding these things, I add a stream. Let's say we have $2,000 a month expenses. I should have made that negative. We'll call that salary. All right, let's add an alternative. A group. I don't know. These are side hustle. Okay, and then let's add, whoops. Let's add scenarios. Social Security again. Oh, where are we? Oh. Okay, well, you can see it. I guess I'm not sure we're doing things. Oh, I should have added it up here. All right, but what you can see is there's no distinguishing. I mean, the interior nodes are nested. That much is true. And if we see a plus sign on the node, we know it's either a group, an AND tree, or an scenarios, an OR tree. But we can't tell what it is really. And then side one, we have streams today, but we also want to add pools of money, you know, assets or liabilities. A mortgage is a liability, a car is an asset, you know. We'd like to know those. So what I'd like to do for starters on this is I'd like to put a little icon on the left of these names and indicate, are you an alternatives or a conjunction, an and, or are you just a leaf? Okay. And somewhere I made notes to myself. I don't know. Let's go in betas, symbols. So the terms I was thinking of, there's list.bullet.clipboard. I thought there was one with check marks on it. Well, that's one possibility I was thinking for the ands. For the leaves, I don't know if scribble might work to suggest a stream, or do we have no? Yeah, so scribble was my stream, and then there's arrow.left.arrow.right for the alternatives, or possibly there's a tuning fork. I don't think there's a tree that looks like it. Oh, not even any tree. Okay, so those were my best guesses, you know, flipping through the pages on these things and saying, what suggests anything like this? I don't know if there's an oval. Yes, okay. So I think what I want to do is more of a visual thing, but it's modify the way this line goes. Yeah, we need to, we probably should make, instead of just having the leaf, I think you should probably select income or outgo kind of thing. And maybe that tells us whether it's negative or not, and only let you enter positive numbers, but positive expenses and positive income, you know, would subtract from each other. Yeah. Well, that would be, I mean, that would suggest sort of a plus, arrow pointing up for increasing us and down for decreasing. I could kind of see that. Even just plus and minus. I don't know if there's a circle plus. I think there might be. We used it in our plus dot circle. Yeah, I mean maybe that would be good for the leaves, because the alternatives, they don't make any sense on that. Now I guess that's accumulation plus sort of suggests accumulation, so that's okay. Doesn't suggest flow very much, but yeah, maybe plus dot circle, and then we'll work on minus dot circle. We'll work on expenses. Did I say anything like that? No. So distinguish incomes from outgoes. Okay. Yeah, I think that'll work. All right. So where is that? See these views? Let's sort them at least. Add plan view. That's probably it. No. Plan list view. Oh, and then the other one was the plan tree. Yeah. When you make a tree, it has optional children, but I think we should start it with something set so we get that drop arrow. Yeah, I think there should be different kind of leaves. Yeah. But I think, I mean, you could type them in right now. You can type them at -700 or whatever for the expenses, but yeah, you don't want to have to think about that. I already made that mistake today, right? When I started on this, I was going to make this an expense and I forgot to put a minus sign in. So it's already messed at least one person up. Okay, so I don't think it's going to make a difference. The reason it has the question mark here is because that's a requirement of the tree display thing we're using. The was it composite? I don't know, the disclosure groups anyway that do the individual items, but they require that the children be emptyable, nil. All right, but I'm going to not make it nil. I'm going to say, I don't think it affects anything. It affects the view, but it doesn't affect the functionality. So if my children equals nil, I don't think I'm going to let that happen. We're going to say self.children equals that. I don't think anybody... Ooh. Wait, why is it get only if it's a var? My children. All right. Now, it uses var children. I don't have to make that an optional. Except for one problem. Oh, it's the same problem. Okay. Let's make, if I do set of result, is that set of scenario? Yeah, that's good. Okay. result set should be the same as 3,000, 3,500. Well, I just took out the stuff. Okay. Okay, so I got to take those scenarios, call net on each one. Let's try again. Whoa. Excuse me. Wait a minute. 3,500, 3,000 is equal to 3,000, 3,500. Isn't that the point of a set? Are you not a set? You are not a set. Map result to the net of each one. Scenarios. Okay, let's try again. Oh, should have checked the type. Set of money. Good. Okay. Okay. All right. So where were you on this? Plan list view. Plan tree view. Well, let's get stream view first. Okay. So stream view right now is all this stuff. Well, let's put we won't worry about minuses just yet. This should be formatted as money, but I haven't done that yet. Okay. Oh, I probably have previews for this, right? Yeah, I can live with that. Explicitly label. I don't know if I can just put a quoted string. Okay. Where's my preview? Do you have one? Yeah. I forget, how do you even show these? Is it this? Yeah. Canvas. Oh, so slow. Okay. It was there. I don't know if I can. Yeah. Okay. Right. So we. Maybe. And I don't know. This is where it's like there's some logic we want, right? We'd really like to have plus if it's positive and negative, minus if it's negative. And I would kind of think that says, like, does that belong on the stream itself? Like, maybe, I don't know, icon's a little weird to be on there. Yeah, it could be a Boolean flag. Yeah, I don't think it needs to be. It's not a constraint on the. I mean, we can make an input screen that handles it and still use the same entity. It's either got positive or negative and stuff like that. If this is negative, how do we want to show it? And then I think we've answered that. But if it's how do we want to? Where do we want to keep that knowledge of how to choose which thing to show? And normally we don't want to put view choices in the model. Yeah, there's only two variants for this. Although we're going to have assets versus liabilities, mortgage versus, well, car versus mortgage. They'll have their own combinations. I mean, could you ask? I don't think it would be so bad if you said, ask the stream if it's positive. Right, we got stream.is name. A stream could certainly tell us if it's positive or not. Yeah, this seems a little off too, but we're going to fix that. All right, we know it's a stream, so maybe our stream should know that, is income or is positive. All right, so let's find stream and a stream. Oh, I lost stream now. I really don't know why they do that to me. Whew. Maybe I want to know if it's negative first. No, it's non-negative. True. I don't know which way is better to ask this. Yeah, it may come to an enum at some point. Positive negative seems okay. So dot is non-negative. How about nose? Oops. Okay. Stream needs is non-negative. Amount. It's really more about the setup, right? Monthly amount. Should be one failure. Okay. Okay, now I guess I can make the view do that. In I think that's generic enough to say. Whoops. Okay. Preview. Well, that doesn't cover it. Let's just do a quick manual. Okay, and it's got a minus on it, and then give ourselves a salary. Good. Okay. Now the next one, so that's stream view. Oh, let's check it. Now I think this one's funny because plan tree view, yeah, he knows composite view. We don't distinguish. I would say this should maybe distinguish the different cases for the pluses, sorry, ands and ors. Plan composite view down here is close. Well, maybe it's okay. I don't know, they're very similar. All right, let's make a if plan is plan and tree, do something. Okay, I mean, that should build. I guess I can do preview. All right, and then I'm going to make separate ones that use the same basic thing. Wow, who can read that? Tree. Okay. Let me scroll now. No. And there's the plus. Okay. Right. So let's make plan and tree view. And then or tree view. Okay. And then the and tree view, that's the plan. And then the icon is, what did I say? Entry list dot bullet dot clipboard. And this one is, I don't know. I like that arrow thing too. Let's try that. I think I can do that. We certainly don't change it. Okay, and then and label is group. I don't know if that terminology is going to work or not, but it's what we got. Okay, what's your problem here? Trying white space violation. Give it up. Okay, let's run that. That's a pretty small icon there. All right, so a leaf. Tolerable. No, I think that'll work for now. Notice when I created it, it now has that little arrow to the side because we created it empty instead of uh, a list with no children. So that's progress. All right. I think that'll work for us. I think that two-way scenarios, I don't know. What I really wanted was a tree that, I mean, two arrows that had the same base and pointed in, like a fork in the road kind of thing. But I did not see anything like that. The checklist, let's see if there's a little better. Oh, maybe that would be better. Same for the stream. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if it would be better or not. The problem is it's kind of a well, I mean it would be creating two separate views, one for plus and one for minus, right? Kind of resisting that. Let me try this one though. I don't know if I might like this better. Checklist dot checked. No, I think I like the other way better. All right. Do I have any? Okay. Yeah, we can see. A stream view. Turn different names from icon and label. Something sign and label. Coming in here. I don't. It's not. It's definitely not to the caller. Stream.sign, stream.label. Yeah, that's the thing I'm kind of resisting. Let's find stream. I mean, this to me is a domain concept very clearly. Like, are you negative or not negative or whatever? The yeah, but if I put something in that's like, here's my icon. Well, that's only meaningful in that screen, right? We display. We'll probably display streams if we got like you can hover over a graph and see which stream it came from or something, right? It's not kind of universally meaningful. And now the label, I could maybe see like a description of some sort that you provide for what this stream is, but Yeah. I don't know. I think I'll leave it. It's a little bit of a wart for sure. We'll have a similar issue with the assets liabilities once we get those, probably next week. And yeah, I don't know if other things will generate that too. It's annoying, and I may not be right. I think I'm right that this is a domain concept, but icon is definitely doesn't sound like a domain concept to me, and I could definitely believe you might display things with different icons in some other context. But that said, okay, so let me run this. I mean, one of the other things that's going to happen, right, is we did this at first and then kind of lost it in the tree stuff. But I would like to make that line. All right, so let me give this expenses. I would like expenses to be colored light red. Can you read 1,000? Okay, so we're spending $1,000 a month. Wow, we're spending $500,000 in 30 years. Okay, and then let's add. I really want to get this Social Security for spouse one. I wanted to build this example and make it semi-plausible. SS 62. Maybe you get $3,000. Well, I don't know what's realistic. Let's start in month 1. Is that scenario? And then SS 67. 1,500. But you got to start 5 years later. That's 60 months later, so 61. And then SS 70. And maybe you get 2,000. Okay, yeah, we're already. This is kind of what I'm wanting. All right, so, well, blue is clearly the last one. Orange is the middle. All right, and now I'm going to add spouse 2. SS2 is spouse 2, and let's say they get less. I think that's true. In many cases, there's a spouse that gets less. And let's make them a year younger. Okay. Oh no, can I delete? Ah. Oh, that's too bad. All right, let me add an expense. Yes, this to expense is 500 starting in month 12. Great. I'm just canceling it. All right, and now I want to add an alternatives. This is spouse to Social Security. And they're S62. 500 starting in month 12. Or possibly 800 starting in month 60, 72. Oops. S67, 800 starting in month 72. And yeah, 70 is 1,200 a month, starting in 72 plus 36 is 108. Okay. Yeah, we lost that when we went away from a list. Yeah, negative items should be pinkish or reddish. All right, but 246. Oh, there's something wrong. Okay, well, we'll have some work to do to it next week then, right? This should generate 9 scenarios, and it's only generating 6. So it's doing 3 plus 3, not 3 times 3. All right. But it certainly shows, well, it shows the kind of things I want, and we haven't built in like cutoffs and stuff like that. But, I think if you had these 9 graphs, like you'd really kind of want to know which one was which. And like, I'd like to be able to hover and highlight it if I press on it maybe or something. I don't want to do something to understand which scenario corresponds to which. I don't know. No, I'm not getting anything like that. The way it does it, it's fitting the scale. I told it to fit the scale to the actual scale here, though, and this one is just based on whatever it really is. But I'm really disappointed it only has 6 scenarios. Oh, shoot. Oh, it's correct. Oh, good. I didn't put this on the right place. See, this is where I want to be able to drag these, long press and drag and rearrange my graph, So editing would be really nice about now. All right, okay, let's take this out. So I'm going to add another negative expense, 1,200 a month, starting in month 108. All right, up here, offset, negative 1,200, starting in month 108. Okay. Where did that go? There it is. Okay. And then here, this is S70, 1,200, starting in month 108. All right. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Good. Okay, so there's clearly, we know what the best scenario is, right? If you assume you're not going to die, you'd rather have more money. You'll it'll change, and you can sort of. Unfortunately, we can't zoom because you can sort of see there's a crossover, right? The green line starts on top and ends up on beneath here, and then the yellow. Yeah, I can't quite see. Yellow. There's a little crossover in here, and this one they're kind of bumbling around. But there's a crossover here, the green too. Right. So in this combination, you'd be at 200 months. So that's almost 20 years to make up. And I wish I knew which one it was. Yeah, there must be something to allow zooming. I think the more interesting thing would be like I want to click on the line, which I should be able to click or hover and have it pop up some information. And if it said, oh, this is choice 1.2.3, SS1 SS70, SS2 S67, I'd be able to work out what was going on. Now, I also think we talked about check marks to let you remove either, well, I could see it on groups and scenarios as well as individual things, but you'd like to be able to turn these off as well and say, let's just ignore SS2 for now and go from there. But this is the starting point I'm happy to have. it's taken us, 8 sessions to get here, or whatever it is, 5 sessions. I don't know, whatever. But it's doing the combinations, and I don't feel like it's too much work to put in this, these 3 more choices that give you 9 more views of what can happen. And then I think once the next thing where we can add in, what if this one dies at this age, and all of a sudden, they get half their money instead of their own pension or whatever, or their own Social Security. I don't know how we'll make those rules come in, but I also another little future feature that I may or may not do, but I could see having a page of scenarios, and you fill out a little interview form, spouse 1 dies this year, spouse 2 dies that year. And, when that happens, we set there, we turn off this and turn on that and all that kind of thing. There's definitely a concept that, it's complicated. Unfortunately, I was trying to understand it well enough to explain to anybody. And, it's like you have your Social Security, and then your spouse's Social Security, and then what they call a survivor benefit. And if your spouse dies before they take Social Security, you can take a survivor benefit until you hit your maximum Social Security age, and then you can switch to your own Social Security or half your spouse's. And, it's just like, whoa. And I think we can represent them, but it'd be better to be some sort of self-contained thing to do that. And I'm not, we're a ways from that. But anyway, I think we've got a good start. We can definitely see some stuff going on. You can see the notion of a crossover. You can see, if you live long enough, you're definitely going to be happier with the higher rate or the higher payments, even though you didn't make any money for 8 years on it, whatever this would correspond to. All right. Well, we'll be back next week, Monday, 2 to 4:30 Eastern Time, 6 to 8:30 p.m. UTC. Thanks for your time on this, and we'll pick up from there. Yeah, we got everything we've got done so far visible somehow, and it doesn't do enough, but it's a start. Okay, I'll see you Monday or some other time. Bye-bye.